In a world that constantly whispers in your ear what you should be, what you must achieve, and who you ought to impress, it is almost too easy to forget who you truly are. Like travelers burdened with luggage not their own, we stagger forward, weighed down by expectations that were never ours to carry. Society paints grand pictures of success, family offers blueprints for approval, and peers craft silent contracts of conformity. But the truth, the deep, liberating truth, is that none of these external standards define your worth. You are not the sum of their opinions. You are not a trophy for their satisfaction. You are something far rarer, a living soul, unrepeatable, immeasurably valuable without needing to prove a thing. Yet few recognize this. Most of us toil under invisible burdens, chasing after standards built on shifting sand, chasing applause that grows quieter the closer we get. The chase becomes endless, a pursuit without destination, a thirst that is never quenched. Wealth, status, approval, all shimmering prizes dangle just out of reach. And even if grasped for a fleeting moment, they slip away like mist between fingers. Those who live for these illusions find themselves trapped in an endless loop, striving, achieving, feeling empty, and striving once again. It is no surprise then that anxiety festers in even the most successful lives. For what good is climbing the tallest mountain if the summit holds no peace? What victory lies in winning a race that never ends? True Stoic wisdom invites a different path, a radical act of courage. It invites you to stop running, to sit down, to turn inward, to ask not, what does the world expect of me, but rather, what do I expect of myself? It is in this quiet, uncomfortable question that real freedom begins to germinate. It is here that the roots of authenticity grow deep. But to arrive there, we must first confront an even subtler enemy, the relentless voice inside our own heads. That inner critic, the one that tells you you're not enough, that demands more, faster, better. That whispers, you must earn love. You must earn rest. You must earn existence itself. This voice did not arise from nowhere. It is the echo of every standard you've absorbed without questioning, the residue of every conditional acceptance you've encountered. Yet it holds no ultimate authority over you. Like a cloud passing across a vast sky, it can be observed without being obeyed. It can be heard without being believed. The first Stoic act of rebellion is not external conquest, but internal clarity. Observing the inner critic without reacting. Hearing its voice and choosing not to let it steer the ship. Understanding that you are not your thoughts. You are the awareness behind them. In this sacred space of detachment, you begin to reclaim something priceless. The ability to choose your own worth rather than have it dictated to you. You cease measuring yourself against the yardsticks of others. You begin to trust a quieter, deeper compass. The one that points not to external applause but to internal alignment. Yet even with this growing awareness, there remains a shadow that many find hardest to escape. The heavy anchor of the past. Regrets, mistakes, old wounds. Memories that replay in endless loops, convincing you that you are forever bound to who you once were. But here too the Stoic path offers liberation. You are not your past. You are not your failures. You are not the worst thing you have done, nor the worst thing done to you. The past is a teacher, not a jailer. Each scar is not a sentence but a testament to your survival, your capacity to grow, to heal, to transcend. Marcus Aurelius, a man who bore the unimaginable weight of an empire, wrote to himself, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Your mistakes are not monuments to your inadequacy. They are stepping stones placed precisely where you need them. Each misstep, each heartbreak, each perceived loss, none were accidents. All were chisels carving you into who you are meant to become. But recognizing this demands stillness. In the frantic noise of modern life, where distraction is currency and busyness is worn like a badge of honor, finding stillness feels almost like rebellion. And yet, it is essential. Stillness allows the noise to settle. It reveals the truths obscured by endless motion. It is in stillness that you can hear the quiet voice of your authentic self whispering truths too sacred to shout. Stillness is not passive. It is not stagnation. It is active listening. It is the conscious decision to pause, to breathe, to become fully present with yourself. In that pause, in that breath, you step out of the endless cycle of striving and into a deeper rhythm, the rhythm of life itself. This life is not a competition. It is not a performance. It is a sacred unfolding moment by moment. And you are allowed to be fully present for it, without apology, without shame, without chasing any imagined standard. You do not need to be anything other than who you already are. You are already enough. And from that foundation, from the fertile soil of self-acceptance, Growth becomes not a frantic sprint but a natural blossoming. Authentic achievements arise not from desperation but from inspiration. Connection deepens not through seeking validation but through offering genuine presence. And so we begin not by adding more to our lives, but by releasing the burdens that were never truly ours to carry. By letting go, we finally make space for truth, for joy, for peace. Once the unnecessary weights are laid down, a strange thing happens. Life, which once felt like a battleground, starts to feel more like a river. Flowing, shifting, moving forward not through force but through natural progression. But beware, even as you let go of burdens, the world will tempt you back into its endless race. The trap of constant pursuit lies not in the objects of desire themselves, money, prestige, admiration, but in the ceaseless need for more. More recognition, more approval, more accumulation to fill a hunger that was never physical to begin with. A hunger for wholeness, mistakenly sought outside the self. The Stoics teach that real freedom is not in possessing more but in needing less. True security is not found in fortresses of wealth but in the impregnable strength of a self that desires only what lies within its own control. Epictetus said it plainly, freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. Yet modern life whispers the opposite. It says you are incomplete until you have the bigger house, the better body, the louder applause. It tells you happiness is always just one promotion, one possession, one relationship away. And so you chase, and chase, and chase. But the prize always retreats further, like a mirage shimmering on a desert horizon. The wise realize that the game itself is rigged. The only winning move is not to play. This does not mean abandoning ambition or effort. It means redefining success not as achieving external milestones but as living in accordance with your values, your nature, your truth. It means measuring progress not by how much you have accumulated but by how much lighter your spirit feels. Freedom comes when you pursue excellence for its own sake, not for the trophies it might bring. When you strive to become better because it aligns with your deeper nature, not because the world is watching. But even with this clarity, even with this shift, another enemy lurks close, the voice within, the negative self-dialogue, that insidious whisper that tells you you're too late, too flawed, too small. It is not the world that first doubts you, it is often yourself. This inner critic thrives in silence and secrecy. It grows stronger the less it is confronted. It tells you stories that feel like facts, that you are unworthy, that you must prove yourself endlessly, that one misstep defines your whole worth. But understand this, your thoughts are not facts. They are echoes. Programs learned and repeated so often they begin to feel like truth. The Stoics teach that it is not events themselves that disturb us, but our judgments about them. In the same way, it is not who you are that causes suffering, it is your judgments about yourself. Learn to observe your thoughts as if they belong to someone else. When the inner critic speaks, listen as you would to a stranger passing on the street, aware but unmoved. Recognize its voice. Smile even at its predictability, and then let it pass. Do not fight your negative thoughts with anger. Do not try to drown them out with forced positivity. Observe them, thank them for revealing your wounds, and then choose differently. Choosing differently may be as simple as a gentle, repeated affirmation. I am enough as I am. It may be a daily practice of writing down your harshest self-criticisms, and then rewriting them with compassion and truth. It may be the practice of catching yourself mid-thought, mid-self-attack, and choosing a softer perspective. It is not about silencing the inner critic forever. It is about no longer granting it the final word. Freedom begins not when the world changes, but when your relationship to your own mind transforms. Yet even as you cultivate this inner sovereignty, you must also turn your gaze backward, toward the past, that vast collection of triumphs and wounds that shaped your journey. Many carry their past like a cross they cannot lay down. They replay mistakes like broken records, resuffering old pains, reliving old regrets. But what is the past if not a river already flowed? What is regret if not a refusal to release what no longer exists? The Stoic does not deny the past. He honors it as a teacher. But he does not live there. He mines the past for wisdom, then leaves it behind like a traveler setting down a worn-out map. You are not the sum of your mistakes. You are the sum of the lessons you choose to carry forward. You are not defined by what happened to you. You are defined by what you become in response. When you can look back on your life not with bitterness but with gratitude for how every stumble sharpened your character, every heartbreak deepened your compassion, every failure refined your resilience, you become invincible. You become free. And in that freedom, the present moment unfolds like a flower, rich with possibilities no longer poisoned by the past. Stillness arises not because life grows easier but because you no longer carry what does not belong to this moment. Stillness is the child of acceptance, the quiet strength of a soul that trusts the process of becoming. It is in stillness that clarity is born. It is in clarity that you realize, all along what you were seeking was not somewhere out there, it was already within you, patiently waiting to be reclaimed. The next steps of the journey are not about acquiring more. They are about shedding everything that is not truly yours. They are about remembering who you were before the world told you who you had to be. And from that remembrance, stepping boldly, gracefully, into the life that was always meant to be yours. When the mind is no longer a battlefield, when the past no longer grips you, when the endless chase dissolves into simple presence, another question rises from the quiet. What now? What now, when there are no more chains to break but the habits of old thoughts lingering like mist in the corners of your mind? The next frontier is deeper. It is the stillness within chaos, the silence beneath the noise. Life will not stop testing you. Life will not cease its swirling currents. But your anchor must now be found not in outcomes, not in fleeting moments of external peace, but in a cultivated inner landscape, a place of quiet resilience untouched by the world's storms. This stillness is not passive. It is active awareness. It is sitting with discomfort without flinching. It is breathing deeply when your instincts demand panic. It is choosing compassion when anger would be easier. Stillness is a sword sharpened by daily choices, and every moment offers the chance to sharpen it again. You may ask, how do I cultivate this stillness? Begin small. Begin where you are. Create moments of deliberate silence in your day. Just 1 minute of deep breathing before answering an angry message. Just 1 moment of closing your eyes and listening to the wind when the world feels too loud. Just 1 pause before reacting where you can ask yourself, is this reaction aligned with the person I am becoming? In these pauses, you rewire yourself. In these pauses, you assert sovereignty over your life. But stillness alone is not enough if it is built atop a hunger for validation. Stillness must be rooted in a deep knowing of your worth. So many lives are lived like desperate performances, chasing applause that feels sweeter than their own self-approval. But applause fades. Crowds disperse. Recognition withers in the face of time. If your worth is borrowed from others, it can be repossessed in a moment. But if your worth is self-authored, if it arises from your daily commitment to living with integrity, with courage, with presence, it becomes unshakable. It becomes yours entirely. The Stoics remind us that you are not responsible for how others perceive you. You are responsible only for your character, your choices, your soul. The opinions of others are external events, no different than the weather or the traffic or the tides. You would not tie your happiness to whether it rains tomorrow. Why tie it to whether someone misunderstands you? Self-worth is not arrogance. It is not shouting your value to the world. It is quietly knowing it even if no one else ever sees. And from that knowing, you can move through life with a gentleness that is unshakable, a confidence that needs no boasting, a peace that needs no validation. But even this is not the final destination. For life will still bring losses, uncertainties, endings. People you love will leave. Plans you cherished will dissolve. Certainties you built will crumble. And when they do, the ultimate practice remains, flowing with acceptance. Amor fati, the love of fate. Not the resigned acceptance of the defeated, but the active embrace of all that life brings, trusting that every twist in the path is for your growth. The Stoic does not merely endure fate. The Stoic loves fate, welcomes it, learns from it. When hardships come, he does not ask, why me? He asks, how can I grow through this? When change rips away what he thought he needed, he trusts that it is making space for something deeper, something truer. This love for fate is the ultimate liberation. It is the release of the illusion that life should follow your script. It is the surrender to the deeper wisdom at play, the wisdom that sees beyond what your mind can grasp. When you no longer need life to be different than it is, you become truly powerful. You stop clinging. You start dancing. And life, sensing your openness, flows through you with greater ease, greater grace, greater abundance. Amor fati is the art of transforming every moment, good or bad, into fuel for your spirit. It is the secret alchemy of turning pain into wisdom, failure into resilience, endings into beginnings. And in that alchemy you discover a truth deeper than success, deeper than security. You are not here to win at life. You are here to live it, fully, fiercely, gratefully, no matter what it brings. The burdens of expectation fall away. The desperate chase loses its grip. The inner critic fades to a distant murmur. And what remains is simple and strong and radiant. Fully present, fully alive, fully free. Freedom. A word so often spoken, yet so rarely understood. True freedom is not a matter of circumstance. It is a matter of the soul. You can be shackled by golden chains, trapped by luxury, imprisoned by applause. And you can be utterly free in a humble room, with nothing but your breath and your character intact. The external world will offer its illusions. Once you achieve this, you will be free. Once they love you, you will be free. Once you have more, you will be free. But freedom begins now. In the choices you make breath by breath, to detach from what you cannot control, and to master what you can. Stillness is your shield. Self-worth is your foundation. Amor fati is your compass. And together they build a fortress inside you, untouched by storms. This inner work is not flashy. It will not earn you trophies. It may even go unnoticed by those around you. But day by day, as you practice observing your thoughts instead of believing them, as you shift from reaction to reflection, as you greet hardships with a nod of understanding rather than resistance, something miraculous happens. You transform. You become the calm in the eye of the storm. You become the steady flame that chaos cannot extinguish. And slowly the outer world begins to respond. Not because you forced it, but because energy recognizes energy. Because peace attracts peace. Because authenticity draws authentic people, authentic opportunities, authentic joys. When you no longer need anything from the world, you paradoxically invite its gifts with greater ease. Because you are no longer chasing. You are no longer begging. You are simply living, open, receptive, grateful. This is not passivity. It is mastery. A life lived not in anxious striving but in conscious unfolding. From this state, even pain becomes a teacher. Even loss becomes a doorway. Even endings become invitations to begin anew. You realize that nothing was ever truly lost. Everything was simply changing form, inviting you to grow alongside it. The relationships that ended taught you to love more fiercely and freely. The dreams that crumbled taught you to find dreams that align with your soul. The failures that stung taught you resilience sharper than any victory could. Every scar, every heartbreak, every disappointment, they were never punishments. They were initiations. And you, whether you knew it or not, were always being forged into someone stronger, wiser, freer. You start to see your life not as a random sequence of events, but as a deliberate curriculum crafted for your awakening. And with that shift in vision, gratitude replaces resentment. Curiosity replaces fear. Love replaces judgment. You stop asking, why did this happen to me? You start asking, what is this asking me to become? This is the heart of Stoicism. Not cold indifference, but fierce engagement. Not emotional suppression, but emotional mastery. Not withdrawal from life, but deeper participation with all of it. The sun will still rise on days you feel broken. The wind will still blow on nights you feel alone. And beneath it all, your deeper self remains. A witness, a warrior, a wise soul learning through it all. Do not run from your pain. Sit with it. Let it teach you. Let it cleanse you. Do not cling to your victories. Celebrate them and release them. Trust that more will come, in forms you cannot yet imagine. And most of all, do not postpone your peace. Do not make it conditional. Do not wait for a perfect moment to allow yourself to be free. The perfect moment is now. In this breath. In this choice. In this tiny, sacred opening where you decide to be sovereign over your own mind, your own heart, your own life. Flow with life, not against it. Trust its currents. Dance with its rhythms. And remember, you were not meant to be weighed down by life. You were meant to rise through it. And you will. And so, we arrive at a truth both humbling and liberating. Life owes you nothing, yet it offers you everything. It offers you sunrises that split the sky with hope, even when you doubt yourself. It offers you strangers whose smiles are small reminders that kindness is never wasted. It offers you storms that tear apart your old world, only to reveal a new path hidden beneath the debris. Life is not here to conform to your expectations. It is here to stretch you, soften you, sharpen you. It is here to reveal the vast, untouchable core of strength within you that no hardship can destroy. And your task, if you wish to walk the Stoic way, is not to demand certainty or comfort. It is to meet each moment with presence, with openness, with courage. Detachment is not indifference. It is the ultimate act of love. It is loving yourself enough to release what you cannot control. It is loving others enough to let them be free. It is loving life enough to trust it even when it breaks your heart. Every expectation you shed, every illusion you surrender, every grievance you let dissolve, these are steps closer to your true self. The self that does not need applause to know its worth. The self that does not crumble when plans fall apart. The self that bows in gratitude before fate, knowing that even suffering polishes the soul. You realize that you are not the roles you play, not the titles you earn, not the failures you fear. You are something older, wiser, deeper than all of it. You are the quiet witness behind your changing thoughts and shifting emotions. You are the builder of meaning, the author of response, the steward of your own becoming. And when you finally rest in that awareness, something astonishing happens. You stop gripping so tightly. You stop chasing so frantically. You stop waiting for permission to feel free. Instead, you are free. Right here. Right now. You see the burdens you once carried, other people's judgments, society's expectations, old regrets, and you simply lay them down. You realize they were never yours to bear. You step lightly into the day, knowing that success is not measured by accumulation but by alignment. By the quiet knowing that you lived with integrity, that you loved when it was hard, that you endured when it was lonely, that you chose gratitude when bitterness would have been easier. This is your quiet revolution. This is how you reclaim your life, not with grand gestures, but with steady, invisible victories of the heart. Each time you choose peace over anger, presence over distraction, compassion over judgment, you rise. You become a light not because you sought to shine, but because you refuse to be extinguished. You are not a prisoner of fate. You are a partner with it. You are a co-creator with the forces that shape stars and oceans and the tender unfolding of every new day. Walk lightly. Love fiercely. Forgive quickly. Let go often. Trust always. This is the Stoic way. This is the way home to yourself. And when doubts creep in, as they will, simply return to the breath. To the silent knowing that you are enough, you have always been enough, and no external circumstance can ever strip away the dignity of a soul that chooses to live awake. Be still. Be brave. Be free. You are already everything you have been seeking. If this spoke to you, subscribe to Stoic Way for more timeless wisdom. Comment below, what burden are you ready to lay down today, and what freedom do you hope to find?